Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Cooley. I'm the Targeted Outreach Director at the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, also known as the DFPI. Thank you for joining the webinar. We're going to get started here very shortly, but let's wait another 2 minutes to give everyone a chance. I know it's right at noon. Let's give everyone another 2 minutes to jump into the webinar. We have a great two special guest speakers and a lot of great information. So thank you for your patience. 2 more minutes. All right. Again, hello everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar. My name, again, is Cooley. I'm the Targeted Outreach Director for the California Department of Financial Protection, also known as DFPI. We have some great guest speakers from California Department of Veteran Affairs, also known as CalVet. And today's financial education webinar is on May being Military Appreciation Month. And for all the service members out there and veterans, thank you for your service. Again, so May being Military Appreciation Month, we are honoring service and sharing resources for service members and veterans. Let's go ahead and get started. It's just a quick disclaimer here. Your cameras and microphones have been turned off for the duration of this presentation. Please submit your questions and comments into the Zoom's chat feature. We do have a dedicated section at the very end of the webinar to answer your questions. The views and opinions expressed in this presentation are those of the presenters. They do not necessarily reflect the views and positions of the DFPI. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. This is not legal or financial advice. And for more information, you can always visit our website, dfpi.ca.gov. We also have an inbox, which my staff all monitors. If you want a copy of these slides, you have questions, you want to reach out to our guest speakers, please feel free to contact us. The email is outreach@dfpi.ca.gov. All right. With that, I just quickly want to give a quick overview of the DFPI. Who are we? What is our role? The DFPI is California's financial regulator. Our purpose is to maintain a fair, healthy, and trusted financial marketplace for all Californians. We do this through regulation and enforcement of a variety of financial services, products, and professionals. And of course, we provide free presentations all throughout California. So in-person workshops, webinars just like this. And we do this to help protect consumers, inform them, and prevent them from falling prey to frauds and scams. If you do want to learn more, we do have a dedicated section on our website. It's got news, articles, consumer information, consumer alerts, and a list of community events that we do all the time. The webpage is dfpi.ca.gov/consumers. Okay, with that, I do want to welcome our special guest speakers from the California Department of Veteran Affairs, also known as CalVet. Sean Campbell and Nina Roa, both are training coordinators at CalVet. Sean, please take it away.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Koo, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to all the veterans, their family members, and everyone out there from the DFPI. So my name is Sean Campbell, and I work with the California Department of Veteran Affairs. After 2 enlistments in the Navy, I got a chance to travel the world and see a lot of cool stuff. But one of the coolest things that I've been able to do really is work here at the California Department of Veteran Affairs and really explore and learn about all the different programs and benefits. That's what we're going to talk about today. My teammate Nina Roa is also here with me, and you'll notice that she'll be dropping information into the chat so that way you can download it and share it or make it available at a later time for whatever you need. Next slide, please. As you can see from this slide, it talks a little bit about the federal VA. It shows you the state of California and our Department of Veteran Affairs. California's got 58 counties, and each county has its own veteran service office. And you can see the different service providers down there, DAV, Swords of Plowshares. These are all civilian organizations. And it just shows that we all work with each other to help veterans and their family members obtain so many different goals, whether it's a civilian organization, the county, the state. There's just a lot of different places for you to navigate towards people to help you with your benefits. Next slide. I specifically, as well as Nina, work for the Veterans Services Division, and our team, the CalTAP team, we're just out there to make sure that veterans, from whether you're World War II, Korea, Vietnam, or you're somebody who's about to get out tomorrow, you're just aware of all the different benefits and organizations and programs that are out there. With our team, there's 5 different pathways that we like to look at: core curriculum, employment, entrepreneurship, education, and it's just a way for us to help divide and navigate through different checkpoints in your life and for us to be there with those moments that matter with you. Next slide. This is a copy of our veteran resource book. We're on the 8th edition right now, and the 9th edition hasn't gone to print yet because they're just dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, and probably said that backwards. But if you want, you can take a look at the QR code, and I'm sure my teammate's dropping a copy of the resource book into the chat so that way you can download it for yourself. I've heard a lot of my counterparts call it a bucket of benefits, and that's probably the best way to describe it. Just a lot of good information in there for you to navigate through. California's got a lot of programs, and so does the federal government, and this is just a good way for you to look at how they work, how to navigate through them, and whether it's something as simple as getting a veterans fishing pass, or if it's something more specific, like you want to get some repairs done to your home, the book is there to help you navigate through all those. Next slide, please. This is our website, calvet.ca.gov, and you can see highlighted there's a couple of different things: how to download the Veterans Resource Book once the 9th edition comes out. I recommend you click on that. It'd be good for you to really enjoy it. Or if you're looking for a county veteran service office that's nearest you, I always try to remind people that with 58 counties, there's so many different offices. Technically, there's 56, but that's a long story. With all the different offices, we encourage you to go to the one that's closest to you, but you can use any of them throughout the state, and all of them are there to help you. And as well, you can see that in the lower right-hand corner, they got the CalTAP. That's our landing page, and if you navigate towards that, we'll show you what it looks like. Next slide, please. This is our web portal, and once you land there, it just allows you access to those different pathways I was talking about earlier. The awesome part is that it's 24/7 access to videos, to PDFs, to just a lot of great information. And today we're going to talk a little bit about core curriculum and how that works. But if you got questions on how to use a college fee waiver, or maybe you're trying to start your own business, you can navigate towards those pathways. Or maybe if you're someone who wants to be a service provider, there's a pathway for you there as well. Next slide. On our website, we really want to make sure people have the ability to not just talk to us and ask us questions, but really reach out. Like if you have an event, or you want us to come out there and talk to a group, we're happy to do that. Also, if you scroll further down on our website, you'll see the archives, which will navigate you to our Cal Vet YouTube channel. Lots of videos regarding different information, whether you're interested about home loans or how to do a discharge upgrade. There's just a lot of great videos that we've done previously that you can enjoy. Next slide. So core curriculum, it goes into a lot of different modalities, whether it's claims and compensation, how to navigate through VA healthcare, just a lot of great stuff. I want to make sure I focus on California benefits for today. And you can see that that's module 5. Next slide. One of the most awesome benefits that we get a lot of questions about is the veteran dependents, the college tuition fee waiver. So generally speaking, the state of California really wants veterans to use their benefits to help them go through college. But when it comes to veterans who have a disability rating from the VA, whether it's a 100% disability rating or all the way down to a 0% disability rating, it just gives you that ability for your dependents to go to college and have that tuition fee waived. Now, there's a couple different requirements. The residency of the student has to be California, and the residency is actually determined by the college itself. You'll notice that I said the residency of the student because the actual service member, the veteran's not required to be in the state, but the student is. But there's 4 different programs, and if you look on page 120 of the Veteran Resource Guide, it'll go into detail about all that. Next slide, please. The California Department of Motor Vehicles has a few different programs that veterans can really enjoy. One of them is getting the veteran designation on your driver's license. You've earned that designation, and having it on your driver's license just allows you to unlock a lot of benefits, especially when it comes to not having to carry around your DD-214 everywhere that you're going to go. Also, the DMV's got an awesome program for honoring veterans' license plates. They they break it down into a couple different categories. There's the actual veteran organization license plates, which have about, the last time I checked, like 74 different types of iconography, whether you want to be airborne or Navy or if you're in the Marines, hoorah, whatever it may be. There's all kinds of different veteran organizations license plates that you can choose from. And then there's special recognition license plates for people with Purple Hearts, POWMIA, Gold Star, just a lot of different ones. And then if you have that disabled veteran designation, you're eligible for that. You can apply for a disabled veterans license plate, and a couple of those special recognition license plates and a couple of the disabled veteran license plates. Sometimes you might be eligible for that registration fee waiver, which in the state of California can transition to hundreds of dollars being saved. So that's something we always recommend people look into for that eligibility. And as well, they've got a program they started a couple years ago where you can apply for fast track as well to get waivers for selected bridges, lanes, or toll roads. Once you have those different license plates, you just would email or speak with fast track directly for them to get you on board with that program. Next slide, please. California is a beautiful place to live, and we have tons of different areas for fishing, hunting, and parks. So if you're looking at fishing and hunting, you can see that if you have a disability rating of 50% or higher from the VA, then California can get you a reduced cost hunting and fishing license for that year. I believe the combined totals are a little over $10 right now. And because California is such a wonderful place, if you look on the right side of the screen, you can see some projected out free fishing and free hunting days that are listed there. So just something for people to enjoy in the state of California. Next slide, please. As I said before, there's a lot of beautiful parks around here. It can be confusing sometimes, but there are actually 2 different parks passes that I always encourage people to apply for. The first one is going to be the Veterans Parks Pass from the federal park system. And generally speaking, that pass is free for you to apply for as a veteran. I put down $10 because they do charge a small processing fee if you do it online, but you can go into any of the federal facilities and have that processing fee waived if you're doing it in person. And then once you get that, it's good for it's good. You can go visit all the parks and enjoy on the federal side. Now, the state of California has a parks program as well. And if you have a disability rating of 50% or higher from the federal VA, you can apply for the state parks pass. And once you get that, you do have to reapply every 5 years, but it just allows you that free entry into the different state parks. Now, within the county of Sacramento itself, if you have the Distinguished Veterans Parks Pass from the state, you would just go into the Sacramento County Parks Office and show them your Veterans Parks Pass, and they'll give you an annual pass for the Sacramento County parks for free. So just a lot of reciprocity in there. It's good for you to enjoy those benefits and see some of the beautiful parks we have throughout the state, throughout our country. Next slide. Business and tax programs. As I said earlier, California's got a lot of different counties. And so the disabled veterans property tax and business tax reductions, I always recommend that you either talk to the city or county business licensing office or talk to the county assessor's office to find out the specifics about the property tax exemptions and business license exemptions. It is different for every county. Generally speaking, with the business licenses, they're just looking for that proof of service. And with the property tax exemptions at the time right now, they are looking for generally 100% disability rating from that veteran. Now, with tax assistance, being that April 15th just passed, we got a little bit of a reprieve. But if you're the person who hasn't finished yet, you can get that tax assistance from VITA or TCE. meal tax. There's a lot of different programs throughout the state to just help you navigate through climbing over that mountain of taxes. And if you are a veteran who owns a business and you do have a disability rating of 10% or higher, we always recommend that you look into that Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Program. It's just a tool and a program that allows you as a veteran that owns a business to navigate a little bit easier when you're doing business with the state of California. And one of the cool things about that is that once you're doing business with the state and you have that DVBE certification, they really do share your information with the local counties and cities in your area so you can maximize that footprint for your marketing. Next slide, please. In the California Department of Veteran Affairs, we have several different divisions, and one of the coolest ones is the Home Loans Division. All of us have that dream of owning our own home, and that's really something that the Home Loans Division wants to put forward for everyone that's a veteran. So what they really do is they take your federal and state VA home loan benefits and they kind of combine them together. A cool thing about CalVet is that a lot of lenders, whether it be there's these private companies, and they're always looking at your credit score. But with CalVet, they take that moment, they look at the veteran, they look at the situation, and they actually manually underwrite every loan. And we're used to thinking about the so many different things when it comes to our home loans, but just knowing that the state of California has an agency where the people aren't chasing a commission, but they're employees just like myself, whose main purpose is making sure the veterans have the best experience possible. It's just a game changer for a lot of things. And if you qualify, the veterans can have that financing for closing fees up to 3%. And in a lot of cases where you have that eligibility, the qualified veterans who have a disability rating of 10% or higher, there's a lot of down payment reduction to find out about. So the QR codes in the corner, I always recommend that you give them a call, especially if you're looking at buying a home in the future or sharing this information with some of your friends and family members out there. Next slide, please. This is just some marketing material that we have that just talks a little bit about detail. One of the things that I really want to make sure that I express is in a lot of states, it's a requirement that you enter or exit service from that state in order to enjoy a lot of the benefits. California doesn't have that requirement. As long as you are a veteran and you're here, then we consider you part of the team. So, I really simplified that. I really want to make sure that I take a moment to say, yes, there's some eligibility requirements for everything that we do. But in general, entering or exiting the state while you're in service is usually not a requirement to be part of the CalVet family. Next slide, please. This is the Women's Veteran Division's landing page. They do an awesome job. As a matter of fact, I was enjoying one of the programs they had last week where they were getting a bunch of cards and having people write personalized notes for all the women veterans who were enjoying the veterans homes throughout the state. And they just do so many different programs for women veterans and looking out for the needs of our sisters, mothers, and daughters. It's just an amazing amount of work that they do. And if you want to find out more about them specifically, sign up for the roster. As soon as you go to the landing page, it'll navigate you right there. Next slide, please. Another awesome team that we have on the fifth floor next to us is the Minority and Underrepresented Veterans Division. They take that extra moment to pause and search for veterans who really aren't getting the same services that everyone else is getting. And when we say underrepresented, it really doesn't say enough about what they do and how they reach out to those veterans who just are kind of California can have some really rural places, and it's just their job to reach out to those veterans and make sure that they're getting the services that they've earned. Another strong step forward they're always taking is working with veterans who have that challenge of citizenship and helping them overcome some of the challenges and paperwork because it can be a lot of paperwork sometimes to help, and they help them navigate through that. Next slide, please. CalVet Veteran Homes. So in the state of California, there are 8 different locations where veterans can go and be in a veteran themed community. They're awesome places. They give award-winning care, and whether you're someone who's just looking for some place to live and be in that veteran themed community where you can enjoy going to the gym, going to PX, going to the movie theaters, or you're someone who is in need of a little bit more medical care or advanced care, these locations are capable of doing that for you. And again, they've received awards almost every year. It's an amazing team that does a lot of work throughout the state. Next slide. So when the time comes that we have to have that conversation about our legacy and what it's going to look like, it can be difficult for a lot of people. One of the things that we try to do for veterans is there's a packet. It's called a pre-burial benefits packet, and my teammate's going to drop it into the chat. But it's good to know that California has such a large footprint when it comes to legacies, whether it's the grave sites, the markers, the burial flags, but really it's that perpetual care and knowing that someone's going to be there to take care of your legacy in memoriam. Uh, California, go ahead and go to the next slide for me. California has 4 cemeteries that are run by the state for veterans. There's one on the Central Coast, one in Northern California, up by Redding. The one in Southern California is still being built, so it's not quite done yet. And there's one in Yountville that's specific to the residents of that area. But it's just amazing that the state itself has its own program to work with veterans who are answering that final call. And if you go to the next slide for me, you can see the difference between the state cemeteries and the federal veteran cemeteries. So with the federal ones, technically speaking, there are 9, but this just shows you the 5 right now that are still accepting new heroes into their ranks. I think the biggest thing to know is just having that choice between the national veteran cemeteries and the state veteran cemeteries. It just gives you more opportunities to choose some place that's closer to your family. And it just allows you to navigate or pivot to places that are closer for your loved ones to come and visit and pay their respects. Because when that final call does come, we always want to be someplace where we will be remembered and be loved. Next slide, please. Again, this just talks about some of the burial benefits that a lot of people are eligible for. And having my teammate drop that free burial benefits needs packet into the chat, just give you an opportunity to look at it. And again, it might not be something you're thinking about today or tomorrow, but it's usually something no one ever plans on and just kind of happens. So I recommend just when the opportunity presents itself, take a look at it, and you'll find that there's a lot of good choices and opportunities for the VA to help you out in this, because these are benefits that you've earned, and we want to make sure that you get them. Next slide. This just explains in detail about how to go to these national cemeteries and state cemeteries, find your different veterans, and leave a little marker or legacy. And this is just gives you that digital footprint and opportunity to leave something special for people, especially if they're your friends or your family members. Next slide. Virtual coins, biographical information. If you find a buddy of yours and you got some old photos of them from back in the day, you can always post that on there. Obviously, it's moderated to keep things nice and clean, but it's just a great way for people to be remembered. And it gives you that digital footprint so you can view them anywhere throughout the world. And you don't have to drive all the way down there just to make sure you're part of that veteran's legacy and people are remembered and memorialized the way we want them to be. Next slide. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Sacramento County Veterans Service Office. Now, as I said before, there's so many different offices throughout the state. This is just one of them, and this is just going to give you a snapshot of what they do and how they assist veterans and their families. So if you go to the next slide for me, it will show you just that question, like, how do they help? Well, they work with veterans, dependents, and survivors in obtaining their benefits. The CVSO offices are VA accredited, and if you look at the numbers at the bottom, you can see that they've really been responsible, especially last year, in bringing in so much funds for veterans and their family members. Remember, that money goes back to veterans for their compensation and claims that they've filed because of injuries that they sustained while being in the military service. Next slide. As you can see from this pegboard here, whether it's comprehensive benefits counseling, pension, or life insurance, records requests is a pretty common thing that we get, getting signatures for the college fee waiver, discharge upgrades. There's so many different things that the Veterans Service offices do throughout the state. And this just shows you 10 of the more common things that they're asked. If you need a signature, if you need guidance, if you need someone to walk with you through the process, these are the people who are the boots on the ground to get that done. Next slide. So what is a service-connected disability? So it's basically they're looking at a current condition that a service member has. And is it something that happened during military service? Was it an injury? Was it a disease? Was it an exposure event? People in the military tend to do a lot of traveling. They see a lot of different things, and they're involved in a variety of different um, operations. So whether it be you're that person out on the flight line pumping JP7, or you're at the bottom of a fighting hole, digging a trench in the middle of nowhere, people get exposed to things, and it happens a lot. So this county veteran service office is just there to help you create the right verbiage and the right terminology to create that nexus between your military service, what you did in the military, and the current condition that you're challenged with. And as it says, their goal is generally to try to settle claims within 125 days, and that's why they work so hard to make sure that that first day gets documented so they can start the clock right away. Next slide. And this just shows you a flow chart of how it works. They get that intent to file in there, which is that first day that I talked about that was so important. So they get the clock started. They gather as much evidence as they can. Is it in your service record? They try to get, whether it be buddy statements or records of treatment, or if they need to get you an appointment at an outside agency to get the confirmation of the conditions that you have on your claim, whatever it may be, they're going to walk you through that. We want to make sure that you make all your appointments, because just like anything else, if you're filing with the VA, you don't want to miss any of the appointments that they send you. And then once all that's wrapped up in a bow, they're going to make sure that the verbiage matches what the VA needs to hear. They do thousands of claims every year, and they are the expert in that. I don't work in that building and I don't work for that department, but I have worked with a lot of the different county veteran service offices throughout the state, and I've always been impressed by the amount of work and how they help out the veterans and their families. Next slide. Discharge upgrades. If you're someone who ran into the challenge of needing a discharge upgrade, it happens to a lot of people, and we're just here to walk you through the process and help you out. There's an assessment that you can take and see what it looks like. And then they're going to help you collect supporting documents. And then, of course, get you the appropriate advice and information that you need to wrap everything up in a bow and get it started. We actually at the California Department of Veteran Affairs, we actually have an event coming up on the 26th of 26th of June, I believe, and that is a online event. We're going to go in detail about discharge upgrades. So you can always join us for that one too. And as I said before, you can always visit our YouTube channel and see some previous events that we've had on discharge upgrades that go into great detail. Next slide. So the next couple slides just talk about how to find this county veteran service office nearest you. I do want to take a moment to make sure you see that veterans crisis line and the number 988 up there. It's really important that when you recognize that we're running into our brothers and sisters that are having that crisis, that we share that number with them, because you never know when people have that moment of need, but it happens to a lot of us. So just above that in the upper left-hand corner is that find a service provider, and you'll see that it's circled in red. But if you click on that button and navigate through that, the next slide will show you exactly how they make it very simple. Look, all of us here know how to navigate through the internet. I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. You put in the zip code and next slide, and it'll just give you the information you need to find the closest one. If you're like me and you do a lot of things by phone, they got the phone number right there too. That's the easiest way for some people. Other people like to use the internet. Either way, there's a lot of different offices out there to help you out. Next slide. This is their contact information for the Sacramento County Veteran Service Office. But regardless of what area you're in, there's a lot of different offices, and they're all able to help you out with whatever your needs may be. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to talk to you today, Ku. And as you navigate to the next slide, it's just going to give you my specific contact information. I lied. It's going to give you our survey, because you get a chance to talk about some more information that you may want to hear, or the opportunity to attend some of our webinars. As I said before, we do ask that you take a moment to fill out the survey if the opportunity presents itself. But Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we've got all kinds of social media. feel free to join us. Just look up CalVet and you'll see us. We'll be the ones with the California Bear flag on there. Next slide. As I said before, this is my contact information, and feel free to contact me. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you may have. That number at the top is our general inbox and phone number. So if you call that, you're going to get all of my teammates, and they're happy to help you out. My number is a little bit more specific. You can get me. I'd love to help you out, but sometimes I go on vacation, so it's the 1-800 number is always going to be there for whoever's on duty. If you have a question that's not super fast where you need to answer, you can always email me, and I'm happy to navigate you through whatever questions you have about benefits or help you find whatever answers you may need for whatever it may be. Thank you again, Koo, so much for giving us this opportunity to talk to everyone out there and share this information. It really means a lot to us. And thank you, Nina, for helping me by navigating all that information to the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. A lot of really great information there. Just a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will publish it to our YouTube channel. We'll also make these slides available for you, so you can click on the links. I know Nina is also putting the links into the webinar chat, so please click on that, share it if you can. With that, I want to move on to the next slide and talk about scams that target service members as well as veterans. So the very first one, and by far the largest category of scams that target everyone, and specifically here, we talk about imposter scams. So these are scams where people are posing as maybe the VA or other military service members or service-related officials. They might be posing as them and contacting you for personal and financial information. Again, if this happens to you, we highly recommend that you hang up and go directly to the source, right? Always verify information, always verify credentials. There's another thing that we've been hearing about, things like romance scams, whether you are deployed overseas or maybe you make your status as a veteran known on social media or something. That's how scammers can pose as either other veterans, or they might be able to pose as someone who's interested in you romantically, and they're, again, trying to get your personal information, get your financial information, or have you invest in something or give them money, right? They know that as a veteran you have, or service member, you have money, you have probably assets as well as veteran benefits, and so they're going to try to access that and take advantage of it. The other type of scams out there targeting veterans and military members are financial and benefit scams. So these are things like pension and disability buyouts. There's also grant scams out there, right? Maybe individuals benefits or grant scams, people posing as someone providing grants to veterans, but they need your personal or financial information. Also, if they're trying to charge you for records, there's a lot, and Sean could probably talk a lot more about this. All the records that you'll need, especially if you need them from the National Archive, they're free. You just have to request it, and you shouldn't be charged for any of that. And then, of course, there are the charity scams out there, right? Individuals who are posing as charities, who are asking for your donations, right? Oftentimes, they will find a particular group of individuals and try to scam them for money for a cause, especially if they say it's for veterans or disabled veterans or the like. So you could always go to charitynavigator.org and check to make sure if the charity is legitimate before you donate. There's also a lot of job and education scams happening right now, by the way, because there's a lot of layoffs happening. And so these could be fake job opportunities. This is where scammers post fake job opportunities on job listing sites. And again, they try to entice you. They might say something like, be your own boss, work your own hours, work from home. They could say something like veteran, high veteran approval, right? Or we like hiring veterans or something. Be very, very skeptical, right? Never share more personal information than you need to. And also a big thing here is you never have to pay for training. This is something that we've been hearing about, which is a company wants to hire you, but you have to pay for a $400 course and finish the course before they hire you. You should never have to do that. In the state of California, you are not required to pay for any kind of training before you get hired. Also, fraudulent education programs, right? Many programs, I'm saying many, there are programs out there that may be trying to take advantage of your educational benefits, right? So you always want to make sure that the program is accredited, and that you'll actually be able to finish, and that there might be some kind of career placement or career assistance at the very end. So be very aware of that. Uh, of course, there's always housing and rental scams. This happens all around, but you always want to make sure, especially if they're saying like, veterans discount, or they're trying to solicit towards veterans. You want to verify, right? Make sure that before you put down a deposit or a down payment of any kind, that you're actually dealing with the actual property owner and not just a scammer using a fake housing or rental posting. And then, of course, loans and credit scams. Again, scammers know that many veterans have money, a steady source of income, or benefits that they want to get access to. So always double check to make sure that the loan company or some kind of credit repair company is legitimate before you do business with them. All right. With that, we talked about some of the scams that are targeting veterans and service members. Let's talk about how you can protect yourself. The first thing you want to do is do not respond to scammers, right? Scammers are targeting you by calling you, sending you emails, sending you text messages, maybe contacting you through Facebook or social media, or WhatsApp. And we want to let you know you should ignore anyone who's contacting you that you don't know, right? You get a phone number, you call from a phone number you don't know. I say just let it go to voicemail. Don't even hang up, because sometimes when you hit the hang up button, that tells the scammer on the other end there's someone there, and they're going to call you again or hand your number off to their scam network, and they're going to just keep trying to contact you. So the better thing to do is just to let it go to voicemail if you don't know who it is, right? If it's an important call, they'll definitely leave a voicemail for you. The second thing you do to help protect yourself is do your research. So important, right? Don't just act. What you want to do is take your time to do your research, look for the red flags, verify information, check credentials, go directly to the official source. If you get someone contacting you saying that your VA benefits are being affected by something, stop before you click on any links, before you call any numbers in that email or text message you get. Go directly to the VA. Go to your veteran service office, right? County veteran service office. They could definitely help you. Number one, verify if this is legitimate, and two, if there is an issue, they can assist you. And of course, yeah, always ask an employee or a professional in person. Not finally, I'm sorry. The third thing you could do is take your time. Very often we hear about how scammers push you or into acting really quickly. And as you know, military members, I myself was former military. You don't want to act too quickly or too rash, right? You want to take your time. Scammers love to get you in what we call tunnel vision, and if they push you to go really fast, you're not going to see those red flags, right? So ignore anyone who is threatening you, giving you a limited time offer, telling you not to share this information with others, asking you for your personal financial information, right? Or asking you to deceive others, right? Maybe you get a call from someone posing as the VA office, and they say, oh, go to the bank, withdraw some money. Don't tell the teller what you're withdrawing money for. That's a big red flag, right? Don't make any big financial decisions for at least 24 hours, because it gives you enough time to soak in, maybe see those red flags around you. So yes, take your time. The next thing that you can do to help protect yourself is don't share your information, or limit what information you share, right? Putting things on social media, sharing things through emails and sign-up forms, especially things like phone apps, right? That exposes you to the possibility of data breaches. So limit what you share. Another thing you could do is to talk to someone you trust, right? Very often I hear about individuals who act alone because they're being pressured by the scammer to move as quickly as possible. And usually in hindsight, that person will share that if they would have just stopped and talked to a spouse or a friend or one of their veteran battle buddies, they would have been able to highlight the red flags, right? So again, talking to someone you trust can always give that additional perspective and that other person that could point the red flags to you if you miss them, right? So consider that. And finally, you want to stay vigilant. Regularly check your financial accounts and your credit reports, especially if you do a lot of online shopping, right? I know an individual who liked to buy car parts. He likes restoring cars. He bought a lot of car parts online, and some of his financial information was lost that way. So luckily, he regularly checked his financial accounts and was able to change the numbers in his credit card when it happened. But again, regularly check it at least once a year. Check your credit report. Also consider putting on a credit freeze. You'll have to go to each credit union to do that, but when you put on a credit freeze, you can still use your credit card and your debit card without a problem. But when you have a credit freeze on your accounts, not even you will be able to open up a new credit card or loan or line of credit without unfreezing your credit. So consider getting a credit freeze. Also, delete any unused accounts that you have and ask to have your data removed. In the state of California, you have data protection rights, and maybe you have an old social media account that you don't use anymore. If you just abandon it and let it sit, if that company, and I'm gonna say if, I'd say when that company becomes a victim of data breach, someone's gonna have access to your old social media profile, and they'll also have access to your username, your password, maybe messages to so they could contact other battle buddies or friends that you know. So the better thing to do, especially if you're not going to go back to that old social media profile or streaming account or email address, if you're going to not use it anymore, ask that platform to delete your profile and purge any and actually all data. You have the right to do that, and they should comply with that. Also, make sure to shred any important mail or personal documents. And if you have any mail, please be sure to important mail. Please be sure to deposit directly at the post office. I personally have been hearing a lot about what's called mail theft. If you have a mailbox at the end of your street, you put your little red flag up when you got mail there. It's an easy target for scammers, mail thieves, to just drive by and take the mail out of the mailbox. If you live in a community like an apartment complex or one of those communities that has a mailbox cluster, it's really easy for mail thieves to drive by, hit it with a pry bar or a crowbar, and just steal everyone's mail. So again, you want to, if it's important mail, like if you're doing your taxes, if you're sending forms off to the VA, make sure to drop it directly off to the post office, right? Don't just leave it right there in the mailbox. And finally, if you're using an internet browser at a public location, make sure to log out. The story I share here is there was a student at Fresno State, and she was at a computer lab just working on on her stuff. She had logged into her Gmail account or email account to access some documents, and then when the class was over, she just closed out of the browser and walked away. Well, the next student that sat down opened up the browser and had complete access to her email. So be very careful if you're on again on like another browser. If you're using a public computer or something like that, make sure you log out first. Okay. Finally, I do want to remind you and everyone that you want to report the incident if you can, right? Report it to local authorities or your district attorney's office. The one thing I want to highlight here is the fact that scammers are not just targeting you, they're targeting everyone. And being a veteran or a military service member, they're probably targeting you and your comrades and friends and all your affiliates. So when you report it to the police and maybe other individuals report it to the police, that helps them build a better picture of how the scammer is contacting you, and hopefully they could stop it from spreading to other people in your group or your community. You could also submit a complaint to state authorities, just like the DFPI. There's our web link right there, dfpi.ca.gov/complaint. You could submit a complaint about any kind of scams that you've been a victim of or that you observe. And there's also the DCA, which is the Department of Consumer Affairs, the AG, the Attorney General's Office, and there's federal authorities as well. So the FBI has their IC3, which is the Internet Crimes Complaint Center, where you can submit your complaints. You can also submit the fraud or scam report to the FTC. They have an amazing website. The link there is reportfraud.ftc.gov. And again, all this information gets collected, and so they could stop the scam or fraud from expanding, from hitting other people, and then of course they could try to help you as well. Okay, with that, we're at our Q&A session, and I do see a lot of questions here. Thank you so much for being engaged and staying till the end. Let's go right through it. I do want to give you a reminder, if you do have a question, please feel free to submit it into the Q&A, and we'll try to get to your questions. All right, first question. With so many vet organizations, who do you recommend that I go to first and able to get help?
So I guess that question is going to be for me. With so many veteran organizations, who do I go to first? Well, that's a great question. I would say that the County Veteran Service Office is probably going to be your best first step. All of these organizations, they do work with each other. And there shouldn't be any organization out there charging you a fee. I was reading this article earlier today, as a matter of fact, where the VFW, one of the civilian organizations, they have 2,000 people whose whole job is just to help veterans and their family members file claims. And last year they filed enough claims to get $14 billion to veterans. I thought that was an error, because I'm like, 14 billion, that seems like a crazy amount of money. But there's a lot of organizations out there to help you. So County Veteran Service Office, definitely a good first step.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Sean. It's a fantastic answer. Next question, will CalVet be impacted by federal cuts?
So that's a question that we got kicked back at our office as well, that we asked. But because the federal government and the state of California do work separately, and again, like I said, we do work together, but we're separate entities, we're not going to be suffering any cuts that I'm aware of. Cool. That's a conversation we had in our office, that we're not going to be suffering any cuts. That's just at the federal level.
It's great to know. Thank you, Sean. All right, so next question. Do you give presentations in person all throughout the state? My veterans group meets monthly at a rural location.
You better believe it. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I just came back from Long Beach last week, and I'll be in Lassen County presenting on Saturday. So wherever you need us, we're happy to get that phone call or email and come out and give that presentation. Make sure that you grab my contact information, or I grab yours, and I'm happy to get that started so we can go out there and get that presentation for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. And I believe, according to your presentation, they could submit a request through your website as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Just go to that calvet.ca.gov, and when you see the CalTap landing page, you can navigate towards there and drop your request in there as well.
Okay, great. Next question. Is there a veteran discount on firearms safety certificate tests?
So, okay. Let me give you all right. So technically speaking, the answer is no. There is no veteran discount for safety certificate tests unless it's offered by the actual seller of the firearms. However, with the state of California, if you have a DD-214, you do not need to have a firearm safety certificate, which is just a weird nuance there. But because a firearm safety certificate isn't proof of training, it's just it's a test to show a minimum level of competency. The California allows you to waive that test if you have your DD-214.
Cool, awesome. I didn't know that. That's fantastic. Thank you, Sean. And thank you for the question. Okay, next question. Where can I get help with the DVBE certification?
We have a whole division, we have a whole department in our building that their whole job is just to do that. So the DVBE, their direct email address, I'll put it in the chat, but just message them and they will walk you through the process. Any of us in the building are happy to help you do that, because it's something that you have the eligibility to apply for, and we're here to help you. I'll drop it in the chat, their direct email.
Great. Thank you, Sean. Next question, does CalVet home loans apply to properties in California? I want to say yes, but you know what? I think the last the last question here. Does Calvet Home Loans apply to properties outside of California? I think that's what they mean.
So unfortunately, I have to answer with the no. I'm sure, like everything on this planet, there's exceptions to that, but generally speaking, the property has to be in California. I'm sure there's exceptions to that, but generally speaking, the property has to be in California.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's an interesting thought there. I didn't think about that. Okay, last question, but again, I do want to invite everyone who's still here. Please feel free to submit a question through the Q&A. Happy to answer it for you. We have plenty of time. I was told my spouse may be buried with me at a VA cemetery. Is this correct?
Yes, absolutely. And there's some cases where children at a certain age are eligible to be buried as well.
Cool. That's very interesting. I didn't know about that either. Okay, that is all the questions we have. Again, last call for questions before we go to the wrap up. And again, I want to give a big shout out and special thank you to Sean and Nina, both training coordinators at the California Department of Veteran Affairs, also known as CalVet, who has been generous enough to come and share not just a lot of great information, but also their time. And looks like no other questions coming in. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Just a little bit of wrap up. Some reminders. We do have our next webinar. It is on June 4th at noon. It's our next financial education webinar. It's on protecting yourself from artificial intelligence scams. You could use that link to register. Again, we are recording the webinar, and I will send everyone a copy of the slides after. So you can always just click on that link in the slides to register for the webinar. A reminder also, the DFPI has a monthly online email newsletter, and if you go to that link, you could subscribe to it. It's got a lot of great information, things on a lot of consumer financial education, as well as links to upcoming events. So please feel free to subscribe to us. And we do again have a YouTube channel, is where this video and all of our other financial education webinars are being recorded and published. So please feel free to subscribe to us. With that, I don't see any other questions, so I want to give everyone a big thank you. First, big thank you to all the military service members, Coast Guards out there. I have a friend who's a Coastie. Also, the veterans, thank you for your service. Thank you for joining this webinar. Again, thank you to Sean and Nina from CalVet for joining us and sharing information. Have a great day, and please take care of yourself and each other. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ku, and thank you, Nina.